What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're talking about 5 very specific fragrances from arguably my favorite genre, the blue fragrance genre. No secret, you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, and some of these are much more recent. One is recent to me, but the rest are pretty recent releases over the last year or so that I think are, in a sea of blue redundancy, that these are maybe some you should check out this year. Let's talk about them. Stay tuned. Starting with the current newest release in the Invictus line, we're talking about Rabanne's Invictus Parfum. And yes, I know Invictus Acqua 2016 is back in the UK on their website, because I know somebody's going to mention it in the comments. Some way, somehow, I will get that bottle, don't worry. But for the time being, this release, this is kind of the highlight reel of the line. It encompasses a lot, pretty much all of the fragrance line. Now, even though in the dry down I don't get much of Victory or Victory Elixir, I've had a lot of people say as it dries they get Invictus Victory Elixir. Fair enough. I get plenty of the original, a splash of Acqua and Intense, and a lot of Legend, that salty, ambery, slightly herbal facet. I get kind of a combination of Legend meets Platinum. So that's why I call it the highlight reel of the fragrance line. This kind of tells you everything you need to know about Invictus as a whole. Pretty much every single release is kind of somewhat nuanced and blended into this fragrance. And I love the way this one smells. And they have this black soap accord that, yeah, it is a little soapier than the other versions of Invictus. But again, I go back to it has that saltwater marine feel. It's got some green herbal elements. It's a little warm and ambery while still being that, fresh bubblegum aquatic that the original was known for. Highly mass appealing, great longevity, not a screamer off of the skin, but has a good trail and sillage to it. I think this is definitely worth checking out in 2024. Again, it's Rabanne's Invictus Parfum. Speaking of parfums, the newest parfum to come out in the Acqua di Gio line, this is Profondo Parfum. And I am such a fan of this fragrance. Man, these blue parfums. We're back to back starting off with parfum flankers of blue fragrances. And I wore this a few days ago. I'm head over heels in love with this fragrance. And look, not everybody's going to agree with me, and that's okay. It's subjective. It's all opinionated. This is the best of the Profondos. I have all 4 versions. I have the original. I have the current re-release called Profondo Eau de Parfum, which is slightly fresher. I think it's a maceration thing. Profondo Lights, which used to be my favorite, and the Parfum. This is special. It's an amber aquatic is the way I'm classifying it, because it is warm and ambery. This labdanum comes across. The cistus labdanum gives me this warm, like resinous ambery tone with that saltwater aquatic minus the mineral notes of the original. Not as much citrus, but you still get some citrus. It's magic. If you like Profondo and want a more, a smoother, more refined take on the fragrance, here you go. That's usually what the Parfum flanker will bring. Another one, not a super loud fragrance off the skin, but my wife has well let me know the trail in this one's quite strong on the sillage, and for me, super long lasting on skin. I'm a huge fan. Don't knock it before you try it. This is definitely one that I would say the more and more it's readily available at department stores, get out there and get your nose on this, because I'm super into this fragrance. You should get to know this one in 2024. It's Acqua di Gio Profondo Parfum. Now this is the one that's not a brand new release, but new to me. I was late to the game. I got the Elixir first. Then I got the original. Bad Boy Cobalt. This one has captivated me this year. If you've been keeping up with the channel, you know I've been praising this one. Starts off fruity sweet from this plum note. It still smells very much synthetic blue. Dries into a slightly fresh, spicy, woodsy, synthetic blue smelling fragrance. You lose the sweetness, surprisingly. I'm not surprised to lose the plum, but losing the sweetness almost altogether. Not altogether, but most of it. Kind of surprises me. I'm just a sucker for the way this one smells. This is one of my favorite designer fragrances I've picked up in a long time. I've seen, weak performance. I've seen great performance. For me, I would call it in the very strong realm. 8, 9, 10 hours of longevity for me. Projection, hour and a half. Typical stuff. Nothing crazy, but pretty strong. Sillage, average type of stuff. Nothing crazy strong in the trail. I don't go nose blind to it easily, though I'm sure a little bit of fatigue is in there, but man, this is so good. If you want a slightly sweeter blue, very synthetic. You have to like synthetic or be okay with synthetic. Nothing natural smelling about this fragrance. And I don't know, there's just something about it does the trick. I'm a fan. My wife's a fan. I was so late to the party on this one, but if you're like me and you were late to the party, maybe 2024 you should give it a shot. It's Carolina Herrera's Bad Boy Cobalt. I believe this came out last year, if I remember correctly, because 2022 was the Eau de Parfum. But Kenzo Own Marine. It smells like this bottle color. Very light blue, oceanic, aquatic smell. Still holds some of that fresh green feel from the original Eau de Toilette. And it has more of a woody presence from the Eau de Toilette Intense versus like maybe the leather of the Eau de Parfum. Like the line all kind of ties into one another and rebalances certain notes and accords. Whereas here it's much more aquatic than the rest of them. I think this is the most aquatic, hence the reason it's named Marine. And it balances out with some of the green and some of the woods of the other two Eau de Toilettes, the EDT and the EDT Intense. But you want the darker, heavier, more interesting, you go with the Eau de Parfum. But if you're looking for a great aquatic that outside of its own line doesn't remind me of other fragrances, which is hard to do with a blue aquatic, it's this one. It's actually quite good. It doesn't blow me away, but man, that smells good. It's even got a little bit of a sunscreen feel with lacking coconut being listed. I don't recall coconut or anything like that being listed here. Above average performance. This is another one. Pretty good performer. 7-8 hours in longevity on my skin. Pretty loud early on. It's an aquatic, so it's bright and fresh. Easy to like, but it's the most interesting part to me is the slight unique feel. Again, outside of its own line, doesn't remind me of anything. It's worth checking out. It's Kenzo Own Marine. Last but not least, this is the most generic in this video. Now, why would I recommend it if I'm calling it generic? There's a reason, there's a function for this fragrance. If you're looking for something that you could just rock every day for everything, you want the signature scent. We're going to call this the signature scent, the easiest to rock in every situation of the 5 in this video. It is the new Ralph Lauren Polo 67. So when I say generic, I don't mean it smells like everything else. I mean it doesn't smell special. What it does smell like is a great aroma that's highly versatile, that's casual, yet if you wanted to dress it up, you could do a whole lot worse than rolling with this to go Oxford and above. This is very much a kind of preppy fragrance, kind of really caters to their main demographic and audience, the younger, slightly preppier crowd. That's always been the Ralph Lauren Polo line, not just fragrances, the clothing as a whole. Polo shirts, just in general, it's a brand for them, but it's also a style shirt. A couple of buttons with a collar. A polo shirt. If you wear polo shirts on a regular basis, man, this goes hand in hand with a good polo. Whether it's a golf shirt, cotton, whatever, this works. If that's the majority of your wardrobe, this is probably a phenomenal pickup for you. So you get citrus, you get a little bit of fruity pineapple. No, it does not smell like a Ventus. I've learned I have to say that every time we talk about pineapple, if it does or does not, because people hear pineapple and apparently pineapple equals a Ventus. Pineapple does not equal a Ventus. What it does equal here is a slight woody, more so slight smoky tone to this vetiver. It's not super earthy, but there is a little bit of depth here. For being fresh, fruity, and citric at the top, drying into a woody base, it's a good enough woody base that I can stand behind this one and say that if you're looking for that one, this could be that one. I do like it. I do like it quite a bit. It smells really good. I just have to be critical sometimes when I'm not blown away by something. Not being blown away does not mean it's not a really good fragrance that you should consider getting your nose on. I just don't think it's the best blind buy option at full retail. It's already starting to hit discounters in a few places. It's easily available at these department stores. Get out, spray it, check it out, see if it's for you. You may fall in love with it. I've had a lot of feedback from people saying they absolutely love this release. And that's why I wanted to talk about it here, because this is a great pickup for a lot of people. I'm super happy to have it. I've worn it twice already in the short amount of time I've had it, and I'll go back to it again in the coming weeks, because this is a really good fragrance. It's not the greatest blue I've come across, but as far as versatility, it's up there, and that's why we're talking about it today. It's worth checking out this year. It's Polo 67. Well, that's the 5 that I wanted to talk to you about today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. What of these 5 have you experienced? What do you think about them? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Keep it respectful and we can have a conversation about it down below. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of the 5 that I featured in this video and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.